Hello, it is May 9th, 2023. It's about 6:05 p.m. and I'm Michael, and this is 11th my 11th day on a fast that I talked about in my previous video. And so I wanted to share this today for a couple of reasons. Some of my relatives saw my previous video and they said I looked, I looked concerning. So I just want everyone to know that I am in good health. I'm in great shape, and my fast is going quite well. So my fast is primarily for spiritual reasons, but I also hope to gain some physical benefits when I conclude the fast. And so the fast, like I said previously, is all liquids. It's all liquids, no solid food. And what I find is that, oh, by the way, I'm here at the public library. You know, life circumstances change and you have to adapt, but I spent a good part of the day at the library, and so I'm rolling into some old methods and some old routines. And so one of my routines from many years ago was I'd spend quite a bit of time at Starbucks or internet cafe or the library, because that's where you can get a good table, a good place to sit, good quiet, and you can focus. So I did some work today for my work, right? And so I just needed some productive time and a productive setting to make sure I can do that adequately. So I kind of missed the hustle and bustle of the public transportation and the metro. And so, but anyway, on the fast, yes. So here's what I've done, just for information only. This is not a recommendation to anyone. This is what worked for me, what works for me right now. So I started that first week of the fast, right? Because I'm into the second week now. I started that first week of the fast where I started out strong with just organic coconut water. Organic coconut water, 11 fluid ounces. You go to Kroger's, you get a case of it, right? There's like 10 in a case or something like that. And it's 11 fluid ounces per serving. So people in the islands, people out, wherever, they take raw coconuts and they live off of that all day, just fine. So I was doing well with that for a while, but I was concerned about the sugar intake. And so there's 10 grams of sugar per serving of this coconut water that I was consuming. And so, you drink a couple of those in a day, and you need to watch that sugar. And you don't want to defeat some of the purposes of the fasting, where you get ketosis, right? Where you get BDNF, brain-derived neural factor, where it helps refresh your brain and revitalize your brain. And you're also able to get autophagy. And there are some medical research out there, because I watch thousands of hours on medical research and how people talk about fasting and diet and all of this sort of thing. And there's a correlation between a high sugar intake and how that feeds into cancer and all that kind of stuff. Not worried about that, but what I don't want to do is consume something that will override the benefits of the fasting, which is higher rates of autophagy, higher rates of BDNF, right? And ketosis, where your brain can feed off of ketones, your body can feed off of ketones rather than glucose, right? So I wanted to derive all of those physical benefits, thus keeping in mind, though, that my primary purpose is spiritual. So anyway, I decided to reduce my intake of the coconut water to about just one 11-ounce serving per day. That's fine. Do that in the morning, add a little organic lemon juice to it, and all of that's good. So then I was doing just straight water after that for a few days, and then I decided to add in electrolytes, okay? And so in a rush, I didn't actually get the electrolyte add-ins that I normally get, which is one that I've um, deeply researched, and it's fine, and there's no issues with that. So I went to the store and I picked up some electrolyte powders. It was, non-GMO. It didn't have all these excess ingredients, zero sugar. I don't want sugar in my electrolyte powder or add-ins or liquid or whatever. So what I did was I said, okay, let me go ahead and use this. And some of my relatives, they're tightly connected to the medical community. And so I told them what I was doing. They were concerned, and I told them about the type of electrolyte powder that I was using. And it does have trace amounts of cyanide, or a type of cyanide that, people say, oh, cyanide, that's poison. Well, 250 milligrams of cyanide will be poisonous, but in this case I'm dealing with less than 0.5 micrograms of cyanide, and it's an ingredient that's used to trigger B12, right, in combination with other ingredients. So that's all good, that's all well, right? So I only got 4 packets of that left, and so I'll figure out something from there. But the big breakthrough was when another one of my relatives was like, hey, you need to watch your protein, your muscle reduction. So yeah, that is definitely a concern. And so I decided to try Garden of Life Protein Plus Greens, full organic, non-GMO protein powder that has about 5.5 CFUs of probiotics, and it has quite a bit of potassium, magnesium, you name it. So nearly every nutritional ingredient in the book. So that's been my biggest boost this week. I started that around Sunday, and 1 scoop added to about 10 to 12 ounces of liquid. Make your choice. You can use vegetable broth. I did vegetable broth for a little bit. Shake it up real well, stir it up real well, make sure there's no solid constituents that's left behind, and you are good to go. So I did that, and I can report today I feel absolutely phenomenal. Truthfully, I could not speak to you like this. I could not express myself like this. Actually, this is the first time so this is day 11 in 10 days. This is the first time in about 10 days that I've been able to talk with this level of lucidity and of vibrancy. And so, yeah, feel absolutely great. So what I did today is I combined electrolytes with this protein powder in 12 ounces of water, distilled water. Distilled water is really the only water I trust personally. But so I combine those 3 things together: distilled water, this absolutely fabulous protein powder that I like, and electrolytes. Shake it up really, really well, 13 times or so in a spiral, and I get it all going, imbibe it, and I feel absolutely magnificent. Absolutely magnificent on a fast with no food. So my body is getting the nutrients that it needs. A fast need not be this thing where you're creating a type of physical trauma and ordeal that you're like, oh look, I overcame this ordeal and all this. No, for me anyway, it's a time to reset, stop eating the kind of things that I just find deep pleasure in, think more about the things I need to think about, stop worrying about what I'm going to eat, when I'm going to eat, all of this, because I do intermittent fasting, about 2 meals a day, roughly. But even with the 2 meals a day, it was like, okay, for what I want to do this time of the year, reflecting on, like I said previously, my mother's life and what she meant to me this time of the year, and all the other things that come with that, spiritually, emotionally, consciously. And so it's a great time to just rethink all of my decisions, rethink how I go about things. And so that's kind of my story today. and I hope that is of a benefit for you. This is not the end of this video. I got a few more quick screenshots about my time at the library today, and that's it. So I hope you enjoy the quick minute or two that follows, and I hope this finds you well. Thank you. I also consume carbonated water, which increases oxygen to the cells. And this is me trying to talk in the library but couldn't get volume pickup. This is my little desk that I had for today, and everything was great and productive.